back to Urban Woman. It's already 26 minutes past 11. It's a wonderful Tuesday morning. Alhamdulillah. We are live on Facebook and YouTube as well. Do hop on and join us. Before we enter into the break, I did say that there is a young lady that has deeply inspired me. And when you hear her story, you're going to know why I am so inspired. Because my work is all about the mindset, and how you create your experiences. Challenges will come. And, we're talking about cancer. Every cancer journey is, of course, we know it is very unique to the individual. But behind every diagnosis is who? It is a person whose life changes in an instant. So today we meet a remarkable young woman whose story is one of resilience, courage, and unwavering determination. We have Sister Saadiyah Shah, who is in the studio with us. So do hop on and join us on Facebook. And we're talking about finding strength through breast cancer. Sister Saadiyah Shah's story of hope and resilience. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Saadiyah, and welcome to Urban Woman on Radio Al Ansar this morning.
Assalamu alaikum. Jazakallah so much, Razia, for bringing me on. I'm glad to be here, and I'm hoping that whatever I have to say today can be a form of motivation for other people going through this journey.
Inshallah. I must say, of course, when we heard your diagnosis is why it was a shock, right? Because I think if anybody is diagnosed with cancer, it is a shock, because you're living a normal life one day and the next thing you're getting this, and we're not sure how things will just play out. And every time I inquired, how is Saadiyah doing? SubhanAllah, the feedback I would get was just on another level. And I just want to say, just to put listeners into the perspective, you are just 34 years old, or you were just 34 years old when you were diagnosed with breast cancer. So can you just take us back to that moment? What was going through your mind when you personally heard those words?
Well, Razia, I actually went to my GP and to my gynae for a regular checkup. And my gynae is such where he was like, okay, you have a lump and let's go all the way and figure out what it was. So I basically went to the mammogram center on my own, just going in there like, okay, it's nothing. I'm going to come out with nothing, And then I was there doing the test, and the lady looked at me and she said, is anyone with you? And I said to her, no. So she's like, okay, we need to speak to the doctor, and maybe you should call your husband. So I think at that point already my heart sank, and I was like, you know what? Okay, this is serious now.
Yeah.
So I gave my husband a call and I said to him, come and meet me here, So he came along, and I think at that point, everything just paused for me, and I think it was the reality kicking in. I was afraid, but I think my faith kind of kicked in. And I'll take you back to a little story about this, right? My husband was quite sick with COVID, right? For I think about 2 years, from COVID.
Right.
And we went to every doctor and we tried to do everything for him to feel a little better, And I remember every day I used to get up for tahajjud and I used to look at him and I said to Allah, you know what? Give him some form of peace, and allow him to live some normality. And if I have to take on this suffering to help my husband, and give him some ease, I will take it on, Ya Allah. Wow. And for me, I think that dua just came back at that point. And I don't know Allah's wisdom behind it all, but I think that became my motivation to fight this journey. And I still remember him coming to the mammogram center and him crying. And I was consoling him and I said to him, it's okay. We can do this. And I think the next dua I made was, Ya Allah, let this fight be for my family and a means of protection for them. And I think at that point, like my dad and my sisters and my sister-in-laws and my friends all came to the memo center. And I think I felt that form of strength already to say, Ya Allah, I'm going to fight this journey. And I think that was the beginning. I just went into fight and flight mode. And I think nobody prepares you for the overwhelming experience afterwards, like the doctors which oncologist, who are you going to go to next? And I think that was more overwhelming at that point. But alhamdulillah, I had a lot of sheikhs, a lot of doctors that helped guide those decisions. So alhamdulillah, I think that was my motivation from the beginning and the onset of my journey.
So this is beautiful because you did not let fear come in and overtake you. You let faith come in, and that's the level that you operated on. Turning to Allah, knowing already, but with optimism, because remember Allah Azza wa Jalla says, I am to my slave as they perceive me to be. And you knew that my du'as are answered. I got this. Allah is with me, subhanallah. And I think that was the foundation on which you then obviously went through this, because everything that Allah Azza wa Jalla, all the challenges are definitely meant to bring us closer.
Definitely.
And I think that is what then determines, do we pass the test or do we fail it? Is the way we handle it in that moment when we receive it. Now, you went through chemo, there was radiation, surgery, and you are still receiving treatment. What has been the most challenging part of this journey?
I think, Razia, no one prepares you for chemotherapy. It's just like you're going to go for chemotherapy. And I think with the breast cancer that I had, the first 6 chemotherapy took me 6 months.
Right.
It was horrific. It's like a train hitting you, and the minute that you're ready to stand up and fight again, it's hit you again. You can't eat, you can't sleep some days. Your body just is in a whirlwind, basically. So no one prepares you for that. So I think those 6 treatments were the hardest for me, but alhamdulillah, with the support I pushed through. And then I obviously went for radiation and surgery. For me, radiation was the emotional part, and I'll tell you why. I mean, as women, we are modest about our body and covering our body, right?
Indeed.
And when you go for radiation, you literally, from head to your belly, you have nothing on. And you are around males and females that are coming in and out the room for 45 minutes during that period. So at that point, you don't know, it's like you're stripped of your modesty, for 3 weeks straight, every single day. So I think that was quite emotional for me. But alhamdulillah, the radiation as well, Allah really helped me through it because I didn't feel a single thing. And then with my operation, I think I went to Johannesburg to have my operation done. And shukr alhamdulillah, I had such a great support system in Johannesburg for all my mom and dad's family that I didn't even feel that journey. Like, it was just me being motivated in that whole 4 weeks and, spending time and creating moments with people that I didn't even feel that part of my journey. Unfortunately, I had like a 0.01% cancer left after they did the operation. So therefore, I had gone another 14 treatments of chemotherapy. But alhamdulillah, Allah was so great that in those 14 treatments that I'm still doing up until now, Allah gave me the willpower to get up and live. And it didn't knock me as down as the first 6. So shukr alhamdulillah for that.
Alhamdulillah. I love it. Everything that I'm hearing from you is just alhamdulillah, and that is how we are meant to handle everything. Alhamdulillah ala kulli hal. We thank Allah Azza wa Jal in all conditions. And the clarity as I'm listening to you is that you're fully aware that this is all the mercy from Allah. The challenge came from Him, the test came from Him, but the way He helped me to get through it, it's all from Him. Alhamdulillah. That is so beautiful and such an inspiration in itself, because everything does stem and boils down to spirituality. One of the most visible signs we know, or the side effects of treatment, it is hair loss. So how did you cope with that emotionally? And share with us, how did you then regain your sense of confidence if it did affect that?
So I know hair is the main thing for us women, and I think me growing up. My hair was always a thing, the thick black hair.
Beautiful, yes.
So I think losing my hair was one of the hardest moments. I think you can't prepare yourself for it. Like, I know I tried cold capping and everything to save my hair, but with the type of chemo that I was on, my hair started falling out in clumps. So every time I would go shower and I'd look at my hands, there would be clumps of hair in my hand. When I'd wake up, there'd be hair all over my pillow. The house would be full of hair, like I was shedding. So I basically, me and my entourage, which was my sister-in-laws, my sister, my mom, my friends, we'd all go after every treatment and cut my hair a little shorter, and we like kind of made a thing out of it.
Right.
Until the one day, I said to my husband, I can't do it anymore. I need to take it all off. It's too emotional seeing this hair, fall out everywhere. And then I think me, my dad, and my friend went to the barber together. And my dad is my biggest supporter, right?
Indeed, he's amazing.
So the two of us sat next to each other and we shaved our hair off,
Oh,
and it was such a special moment for me that the two of us took out our hair together. And I think I created those moments. And then I know my husband came home after and he also gave me a shave. So we kind of created a moment out of that as well. And then my smallest daughter, would come up to me and she'd be like, hey, Mom, I don't have a mom now. I have two dads. So, she always made the light of the situation and would video me bald and crack ball jokes. So I think that kept me going. Mm-hmm. I think the only thing it doesn't prepare you for is that you lose that sense of, you're not a feminine anymore. You don't feel feminine. And every time you look at yourself in the mirror up until now, it reminds you of the journey that you went on. It's like it knocks you down. And I think also being married and at this young age, you feel unattractive to your spouse as well, so that's another thing that plays on you emotionally. But I know my husband would always crack jokes and be like, even if you didn't have a head, that I would still love you, so I think those kind of things motivated me. And when you say bring back the confidence, I went for a wedding that December and my hair started sprouting back in. And it was a very close family wedding and there wasn't many people invited. So I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to go bald.
Right.
And I went bald to the wedding and everyone was like, oh my word, we're so inspired, And for me, I think that kind of motivated me. And it said to me it's not what you look like. It's your character that defines who you are as a person and that strength that Allah gives you as a person to ride this journey. And I think for me, that gave me my confidence to kind of get back and motivate myself.
I love that. This is beautiful because you touched on something that all women struggle with, and especially if we look at social media and how superficial things have become, that people who have everything, have the hair, have everything, they still need the filters in order to be perceived as beautiful. And here, it was part of your femininity that you had no choice and you had to obviously allow to detach from. And then you realized Allah Azza wa Jalla obviously blessed you with the partner, knowing He's going to give you this journey and this challenge. So a partner that could support you, alhamdulillah. And that's just evidence that He's not in love with just the outer. Yes, the shell is there, but as you said, the character, the soul, the personality, the love that you have and who you are, it doesn't change anything. If anything, we just see a stronger Saadiyah, subhanallah. You know what, we're going to definitely get you on and continue with this. Due to time, we're going to have to wrap up here. But Saadiyah, we're going to go more into your journey when we get you back onto Urban Woman, inshallah. As we wrap up, what would you like to say to our listeners, anybody else that maybe is just being diagnosed right now with cancer, and especially young ones? So we have lost another cousin with cancer not too long ago as well, and it can be quite daunting for anybody to hear this. You have been and you are true inspiration, alhamdulillah. That's the reason I got you on, and we want to go more into this whole thing, into whole of you understanding your journey, and there's so much more that we really want to unpack. So I want to make this like a little series on Urban Woman, because you have so much to share with us and inspire us with, and you touched on so many important points that we so easily lose touch on, and that is where we don't realize that everything is from within. You said you changed everything inside of you, not outside. You didn't just get fixated on wigs or how people are going to see you and perceive you. You went inside and you worked on that, and you just are so strong, in my opinion. So for those that, Allah Azza wa Jalla is testing, we don't know what news anyone can receive tomorrow. But for those that are probably just diagnosed with cancer or have cancer patients in their family, what's your message to them?
Well, I want to say to them that don't ever lose your hope in Allah. You go through trials in your life, but Allah becomes your everything. If you can find your peace and contentment within Allah and just know that this journey is Allah bring you closer to Him, and going through it, that's all you need in this life. This world means nothing. Tomorrow we all, striving for Jannah, and that's ideally what Allah is trying to give you in this journey, and you learn to appreciate everything. And something that I would like to tell people is that anyone walking through this path, keep making dua and keep trust in Allah. Keep moving forward, and your illness does not define who you are. Your sabr, your tawakkul, and your faith does. And don't ignore signs, and trust Allah, and take whatever means He has given us to encourage other women to get checked during this cancer journey, because you could save your life. And just ride this journey because it's your journey. You fight this journey and motivate yourself. And if anybody else needs a helping hand in this time, I wouldn't mind you sharing my number, and for me helping somebody else through this journey would be amazing.
Share your number if you're comfortable with sharing it right now on air and on our screens if you want to, or would you prefer they can just message us?
Sure, I can share my number. If you don't mind me going in,
yes.
It's 076 932 8769.
Beautiful. 0769328769. And as you are speaking, and you actually got goosebumps listening to you, because I can feel where you're coming from, subhanAllah. It's that soul level. It's the ayah. لا يكلف نفس إلا وسعها لها ما كسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت. Allah Azza wa Jalla will never test a soul with more than it can handle. And of course, He tests His strongest soldiers in ways that He knows. So it's all the tests and how we get through it. Saadiyah, it's been amazing having you on. You've been an inspiration, but this is not the first time we're having you on Urban Woman. We have so much to get through, but due to time, we're going to have Sister Saadiyah back on again, inshallah. As I promised you that you don't want to miss out on the segment, a young lady that has been diagnosed with cancer, but she did not let that define her. And we're going to find out more about how to navigate this in her journey as well. We'll go for a break. We'll be back shortly. You're listening to Urban Woman with me, Razia Rangrage.